coverage you can count on. This is WNEMTV5 News.
Right now, the mask mandate for public transportation comes to an end.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
We'll hear reactions from travelers on a federal judge's decision. Plus, the crisis in Ukraine pushing grocery prices to rise even more, while farmers are facing the growing costs. And a special day for thousands of runners.
Pretty crazy to think of 50 years ago, 8 people standing on the line, and here we are with thousands of women.
We take a look at this year's Boston Marathon and why it was a big day for women. It's time to wake up Mid-Michigan. It's Tuesday, April 19th. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for waking up with TV5. I'm Blake Keller. So glad that you could be here with us. Meteorologist Matthew Mondro is here. We're tracking an average day and also lots of traffic incidents.
Yeah, we'll say average day forecast-wise. We have a few snow showers this morning. A cooler day, though. But again, we're seeing some of those accidents popping up this morning. It looks like some of that leftover moisture on the roads down in Genesee County actually might be freezing over just a little bit, too. As a real quick, we do have a few flurries on your First Warn 5 Sky Tracker that are just in northeastern Genesee County and down towards Lapeer County as well. Temperatures this morning are starting off right around that freezing point, and so that's why down near Genesee County right now, while the map is trying to load up here, we have 33 degrees in Flint. So that's why we might be seeing a few of these accidents actually down near the Flint area. So a number of accidents popping up on your live on time traffic map. There's one up near Montrose, one near Swartz Creek, and a number of them near Dort Highway, I-69 and I-475 this morning. So certainly something to look out for if you are leaving your house anytime soon in Genesee County this morning. Might encounter a few of those slick spots and maybe try to certainly add a few extra minutes to your drive as well. And also heading down into Oakland County, maybe if you head down in the Metro Detroit area for work, down near the Springfield area and Waterford area, we do have 2 crashes that are coming up. One that is on M15 or Main Street. That's exit 91 on I-75 southbound, and then another one on I-75 northbound, another crash at exit 93. So that's for US 24 or Dixie Highway. And it does look like there are a few slowdowns there on US 24 as well due to these crashes. So all again, something to look out for this morning. Please be sure to drive safe, but I'll have more on some rain that's coming up for Wednesday night in just a bit.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Well, listen to this. A Florida judge has ended the federal mask mandate. That means flyers and train passengers no longer need to mask up as they travel unless required by the company or a local ruling. The White House has not said if a challenge is coming, but Bradley Blackburn is at New York's LaGuardia Airport with reactions.
White House. A mid-flight celebration after a federal judge struck down the mask mandate for airplanes and mass transit on Monday. The judge said the court accepts the CDC's argument that masks limit COVID spread, but that alone was not sufficient to exceed the agency's authority.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
On the ground, passengers were relieved to hear the news.
I would say hallelujah. Yeah, long past due.
Though some will continue masking up as a precaution.
But I'm keeping mine on tight.
Because we already so close on the flights, it's kind of like, yeah, I would rather wear a mask because I don't know these people.
Airlines, airports, and mass transit systems are now free to make their own decisions, and many of the nation's largest carriers quickly announced they will not require masks.
So this is obviously a disappointing decision. The CDC continues recommending wearing a mask in public transit.
The CDC recently extended the mandate until May 3rd due to rising cases from the BA.2 variant of COVID-19.
We don't know how the BA.2 variant is going to play out across the country. My advice as a physician to anybody traveling on a plane would be to continue wearing a mask when you're traveling on public transportation.
The Justice Department has not said if it will seek an emergency stay to block the judge's order. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Biden began that mandate shortly after his inauguration. At the time, airlines had their own requirements in place. Recent polling showed the nation is split about keeping the mandate. Student athletes can get a free sports physical at Ascension in Saginaw today. It's for students 14 and up and will be provided at the Orthopedic Medicine Building at 4677 Town Center Road. Each student needs with them a complete medical history and signed consent form by a parent or guardian. You do need to set up an appointment and parental guidance is required. Developing this morning, Saginaw City Council looks to the future generation to get a new outlook on developing the city's downtown area. 16-year-old Liam Dreyer is the founder and CEO of Government for Tomorrow. His organization will be working with the city of Saginaw to select a student that will hold an official non-voting board position on Saginaw's Downtown Development Authority.
The student is a regular board member for the entirety of the meeting, except maybe 1 to 2 minutes where votes happen at the end of discussions. But the student is included in all of the conversations and talks to the board members as if they were peers.
Government for Tomorrow is looking to find a student with at least a 2.5 GPA with a passion to be involved. Dreyer plans to visit schools in the area soon with the goal of filling the position by the fall. The student will then be trained to represent the demographic through polling. The Saginaw City Council recently voted to change bylaws in order to create the position, a move Mayor Brenda Moore supports.
I think that that's good for our youth. We've been talking about having the youth involved, so I think that that's a way to introduce them to the political arena. And who knows, we might get us some leaders from Saginaw. We might even get us a president from Saginaw.
For more information on the Government for Tomorrow program that helps cities and schools create student positions in local government, just head to the hot links section at WNEM.com. Across Michigan today, an independent autopsy on Patrick Loyoya's killing by a Grand Rapids police officer will be made public. The Michigan Department of Civil Rights is joining activists in their calls for a wider investigation, pointing to evidence Grand Rapids police engaged in a pattern of racial discrimination. Following dozens of complaints over racial discrimination from city residents, the Michigan Department of Civil Rights first launched an investigation into Grand Rapids police in 2019. In 2017, several officers drew guns aimed at 5 unarmed black boys walking home. An officer handcuffed an 11-year-old black girl at gunpoint later in 2017. And as recently as last year, an officer punched a black driver in the face after a traffic stop. Now, in the case of Loyoya's killing, the ACLU and other groups continue to call for the department to release the name of the officer.
This was a predictable and preventable death, and that's, I think, what makes it even more tragic. We've been promised a full investigation, and a full investigation means you have to look at the context. You have to look at the history of this officer. Has he been involved in prior incidents involving black motorists, brown motorists?
Police say they are not releasing the officer's name since he has not been charged with the crime. It may be hard, too, to learn more about the officer's past. According to language in the Grand Rapids Police Department union contract, officer complaints or disciplinary actions are expunged within 2 years if there's been no other issues within that time. Well, the parents of accused Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley are due back in court today. Jennifer and James Crumbley have a pretrial hearing. Both are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the high school shooting that killed 4 students and injured many others. The hearing is set for 10 a.m. Ethan is due in court Thursday, also for a pretrial hearing. Crumbley is facing 24 charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder. Happening today, Chippewa Nature Center is hosting a bee hotel workshop. It's all part of the week-long celebration leading up to Earth Day. It's this Friday. Tonight's workshop offers a chance to learn about native bees, and you can decorate your own bee hotel to take home. Tomorrow night, a turtle stewardship project night. You can learn about native turtles and make cages to protect turtle nests. Also, there will be a black light trash pickup where you can use UV flashlights to pick up strings and other small pieces of plastic harmful to the habitat. For a full list of Earth Week events at the Chippewa Nature Center, you can check out the Hot Links section on our website. All right, time to get the morning started, everyone. TV5 News time right now is 6:07. A pet groomer facing animal cruelty charges returns to court. We have all the latest details still ahead. And it's the start of tick season, how you can protect your 4-legged friends. Heading outside right now, there is a look at the wind. It's picking up. This is a look at Midland, but otherwise it is clear and cool. If you are headed out and need to stop for some gas, we have a look at your average prices that we are tracking for you. At least they're going down. Stick with us. Matthew has your forecast in about 2 minutes.
And now your First Warn 5 forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
6:10 is your TV5 news time on this Tuesday morning. Just a few lingering snow showers over to the northeast of the Flint area, but no widespread snow like we saw yesterday. But we do have some moisture that's still lingering on our roadways as well. So you see your radar is looking fairly quiet for this Tuesday morning. We want to move over to the live on time traffic map. There's an accident on northbound I-75 at exit 106. That's for Dixie Highway. And we are seeing some quite substantially slowed traffic there down to around 18 miles per hour. And we're even getting a report from the MDOT traffic map that I-75 northbound has all of those lanes closed at exit 106 at the moment for Dixie Highway. Now up into Genesee County, we are seeing numerous accidents as well up in the Montrose area, Swartz Creek, I-75, 475, and Dort Highway. So it looks like things are a little slick down in Genesee County this morning. And also one accident one crash that we actually have a visual on this morning on I-69 westbound. This is at the exit 138 for Dort Highway. We can see that right here on our traffic camera from the Knapp High building. So traffic is substantially slowed down there as well. So you want to try to find an alternate route if you can. If you do travel I-69 this morning, you may encounter a few of those slick spots, but we are looking at damp areas from that leftover moisture from yesterday. But by the later morning, things should start to clear up as we do start to warm up once again. Later on for today, we are talking a drier afternoon and tracking more rain Wednesday night. Blake, I'll show you how much rain that's coming up.
All right, thanks for the heads up, Matthew, for sure. I do want to add Genesee County 911. They have about 20 plus active incidents on the roads right now. So we're tracking those for you this morning. Stick with us. But right now, TV5 News Time is 6:12. As communities remember the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing, we'll take a look back at the historic tragedy that's coming up. And encouraging responsibility when it comes to space travel. More on how the White House is leading by example. That's after the break. Well, new this morning, the Biden administration wants to encourage more responsible behavior in space by implementing a self-imposed ban on anti-satellite weapons tests. Vice President Kamala Harris announced the new measure during a visit to Vandenberg Space Force Base Monday. This announcement comes 5 months after Russia successfully tested a ground-based missile that struck a defunct Soviet-era satellite. Well, today marks 27 years since the Oklahoma City bombing. The blast killed 168 people, including 19 children, and injured several hundred more. It happened April 19th, 1995 at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. The two men convicted of the attack were former U.S. Army soldiers associated with an extreme militant movement that rejects the legitimacy of the federal government and law enforcement. One was executed by lethal injection in 2001. The other is serving life without parole. With on and off again flurries, the start of spring may seem delayed, but spring problems are not waiting for the warm up. Tick season has started, and those little pests could have a big impact on your pet's health. David Schumann looks at the best ways to keep ticks at bay.
Deer. This is Winston. Deer.
Parks and wooded areas are places Monica Jobert is extra careful now with her 2.5-year-old rescue pup.
He had Lyme disease last year. Well, we weren't very responsible with our tick prevention. We noticed that he was pretty lethargic, especially for a border collie.
Winston's antibiotics worked, but the damage to his kidneys may shorten his life.
It really is never too early to talk about ticks.
Dr. Stuart Dalton, a veterinarian at White Bear Animal Hospital, says they see dogs test positive for Lyme disease every week.
It affects their joints and it causes them to be painful. That can cause permanent damage if it's let to go too long.
Should come as no surprise that prevention is key.
Trying to avoid heavy tick areas, especially in the spring and fall when they're most prevalent. Checking your dog thoroughly at the end of the day. And then beyond that, we test dogs regularly.
Tick checks are an important tool for us humans, too. Experts with the Minnesota Department of Health say ticks like to hide, usually on our lower bodies, and it's okay to take them off with tweezers or even your fingers.
We always want people to get out and enjoy, the beautiful weather and do all the things they love to do, but just know that especially, as we get into the month of May and into June, that's kind of our prime risk season for ticks in Minnesota.
Go get him. Good boy. That's a good boy.
And now your first Horn 5 forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
We had our snow that moved through the area yesterday. Some lingering moisture on our roadways this morning, though, due to that snow. A lot of it melted as it came in contact with the pavement. But we have been seeing some of the effects of that this morning on our roadways. Here's a live look at I-69 from the Knapheide building. This is actually starting to clear up a little bit. This looks better than it did even about a minute or two ago. But we are still seeing a few slowdowns on I-69 westbound as there was a crash there at Dort Highway. That's exit 138. So still be on the lookout for some of these slowed down spots as you do travel around the area, especially Genesee County this morning. That's where we're seeing a lot of these incidents coming in. And also as you go right to the county line between Oakland County and Genesee County, there's a crash here on I-75 northbound that has slowed down traffic. And we are getting reports from MDOT that I-75 northbound right at the county line is actually closed this morning due to this crash. But once that gets cleared up, the freeway will open up. And at the moment, it still is blocked. That's at exit 106 for Dixie Highway. Also into Genesee County as a whole, seeing numerous accidents or numerous crashes still coming in on I-75, also one near Swartz Creek, one up in the Montrose area, and a number of them also on I-475 and Dort Highway this morning. So things are looking a little slick down in Genesee County this morning due to some of that leftover moisture on the roads from yesterday's snow. Now, yesterday, the snow was the main focus of the forecast. Want to turn our attention to Wednesday night and Thursday, looking at another system to come through to bring us another round of rain. But during the daytime on Wednesday and during the daytime on Thursday, we're actually looking to stay dry. So the timing of this rain might be a little more convenient as it comes in overnight. Still not much going on your First Warn 5 Sky Tracker over in the Rockies, where that wave is expected to move in and bring, or rather form that system to bring us that rain. But that rain really doesn't look to move in until around midnight Wednesday night into Thursday. Could have some more moderate to even steady rain at the onset of that. Just some scattered showers Thursday morning for your morning drive on Thursday and those bus stops on Thursday too. But by Thursday morning, even the late morning, we're already back to sunshine and looking at a pretty nice day on Thursday with temperatures then returning to the 60s. Now, as for rainfall too, kind of an early look at some of these rainfall numbers, on average around 1/4 of an inch. So not really a soaking rain, but certainly a good rain if you maybe wanted to get some fertilizer down in the yard Wednesday so this rain can soak it in, or if you started to get a head start on some of your early spring yard work, or maybe you've potted some plants and want to get some rain for your flowers as well. This is looking to be a perfect rain for that. As for this morning on your First Warn 5 Pinpoint Doppler Live from MBS, a few flurries that are lingering just to the north of I-69, just to the north of the Lapeer and Mayville areas. Most of us, though, starting off dry with more cloudy skies. And as we go through the morning, a few of these lingering snow showers are going to still be the theme. But by noon today, we do begin to dry out, and we'll actually start to break into a little more sunshine later on. This is around 6 o'clock. So that evening drive, if you have evening errands, or maybe if you even have any after-school activities, we should be looking at some nice weather, just a little cooler and still a little breezy. Overnight, though, we continue with that clearing trend. So that means temperatures in the 20s starting off Wednesday, but then we do have a nice bit of sunshine before that rain eventually moves in later on in the evening. So there's that rain Wednesday night into Thursday. Day planner in Midland has those cooler temperatures for the afternoon, lower 40s, but a little more sunshine closer to dinner at 6 o'clock, and breezy, our northwest wind gusting to 30 miles per hour occasionally for this afternoon. So that will keep wind chills down into the 30s. Still feeling a little cooler for today, but your 7-day forecast is warmer tomorrow, a high of 51, 60s on Thursday after that morning rain. And then this upcoming weekend, Blake, we're looking at a return to the 70s.
All right, that end of the week looks good. Matthew, appreciate all the updates. And of course, be sure to stick with us throughout the morning. Also online for these traffic incidents, so your traffic morning commute is not impacted. All right, thank you, Matthew. TV5 News time is 6:21. Feet on the street is back in Bay City, but some businesses worry it may lead to less foot traffic coming to their establishments. How community leaders came to a compromise. And an effort to cut down on painkiller overdoses. Did it work? We'll have that story and more in your health news when we come back.
Putting labels on acetaminophen to list the proper dosing amount or to identify which products contain the medication did not help reduce hospital admissions for accidental overdoses. That's according to new research from Canada that found overdoses of the common, generally safe, over-the-counter pain reliever are responsible for thousands of emergency room visits in the U.S. each year. A new study finds lifelong excess weight nearly doubles a woman's risk of endometrial cancer. Researchers in England say two hormones, testosterone and fasting insulin, increased the risk. And a new analysis of adults with type 2 diabetes finds those in the highest weight group who go down to the lowest weight group increase their life expectancy by more than 3.5 years. Doctors say this finding reinforces the need for people with diabetes to watch their weight. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Kate Smith, CBS News, New York.
Right now, TV5 News time is reaching 6:25. Farmers are getting hit hard by growing costs, causing prices to rise at the grocery store. How the war in Ukraine is affecting these rising prices. Plus, Matthew has a sneak peek at your forecast.
We do have some damp areas this morning, a few slick spots, and getting reports that I-75 northbound at the county line between Genesee and Oakland County is blocked at the moment due to a crash at exit 106. So you'll want to find an alternate route if you can this morning. I'll have more in your forecast and continuing to track this traffic coming up.
Coverage you can count on. This is WNEMTV5 News.
Gas prices dipping slightly here in Michigan, but is it the case with other products impacted by the war in Ukraine? We will get to that story in just a moment, but first, Matthew is here. He has a look at your forecast. So weather conditions, I think we're seeing it might be a little bit slippery out there.
Yes, might be a little slippery, especially down in Genesee County. So yesterday we had that snow that moved through, and we actually picked up a light coating down in Genesee County yesterday. Now this morning, temperatures are borderline right at that freezing point. We've seen a number of accidents coming in, a number of crashes.
More than just a number, but yes.
Yes, exactly. So here's a live look at I-69 from the Knapheide building. This is I-69 westbound, and we've seen some backups here, but it's also cleared up, and now we're starting to see it back up again. We still have a report of a crash on I-69 westbound at exit 138. That's for Dort Highway, and you can even see I-69 on the map. They're also showing some of those slowed down areas too. Want to head down to the county line between Genesee and Oakland counties this morning too. There is a crash at exit 106. That's for Dixie Highway, and MDOT is still reporting that I-75 northbound has all lanes blocked right now due to that accident. So if you do travel northbound on I-75, maybe from northern Oakland County into southern Genesee County, you will want to find an alternate route for the time being. And even Genesee County as a whole, like Blake and I were mentioning, there are a number of crashes around the area at the moment. We have one near Swartz Creek, one up in Montrose, also a couple of them on I-75, 475, I-69, and Dort Highway. So it is looking to be a little slick out there this morning in Genesee County. So this is all something to look out for. So this is because temperatures this morning, again, are borderline right at around that freezing point, waiting for the map to load up here. 33 degrees in Flint. We have 32 in Lapeer. So if there are any damp areas on those overpasses, there may be a few of those slick spots. The rest of the day is looking to be a little quieter, but tracking more rain for Wednesday night. Blake, I'll show you that coming up.
Sounds good, Matthew. Thank you for the updates. We have continuing coverage this morning. Gas prices are starting to slowly decline. Prices are down 3 cents compared to last week, but the state average is still $1.13 more than this time last year. According to AAA, Michigan drivers are now paying an average of $4.10 per gallon for regular. That's roughly $62 to fill a 15-gallon tank. AAA says crude oil prices have increased, and if they continue, pump prices could possibly follow. On average, the most expensive gas we found in our state was in the UP, Chippewa County, $4.24. The least expensive average in Midland County at $3.69 and Crawford County at $3.74. The cost of gas is not the only thing rapidly fluctuating. Prices are on the rise for just about everything. And now certain industries are being hit even harder because of the war in Ukraine. Nichelle Medina explains.
Farmers are facing growing costs. At Tri-County Fertilizer in Richmond, Kentucky, prices are way up.
Fertilizer is up $300 to $400 a ton in some cases $500 to $600 a ton.
Much of the price hikes are from gas prices driving up shipping costs, and now the war in Ukraine is also having an effect.
Russia is the second largest exporter of fertilizer, and with the sanctions and the trade embargoes that we have, it's limiting the amount of supply of fertilizer that's on the marketplace.
Patrick Penfield is a professor of supply chain practice at Syracuse University and says that's making it more expensive to grow crops.
To exacerbate matters, now we have this other issue where now Ukraine is not farming, they're not producing anything, they're not being able to ship stuff out.
Ukraine is one of the world's leading suppliers of wheat, corn, and other grains used in countless products we eat every day. Those supply shortages will likely make the high price of groceries here at home even higher. Businesses like New Jersey's Four City Brewing are also paying more.
Grain has gone up 18, 20, 25 cents a pound. So when you're talking about hundreds, maybe 1,000 pounds per batch, it's a lot of money.
And the price of cans is going up. That's because Russia is a major exporter of aluminum.
I think the problem in the Ukraine is going to ripple, and it's not going to affect us right now, but it's going to affect us in general over the time.
The company hasn't raised prices for their customers yet, but the owners believe they'll eventually have to. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still unfolding, a deadly crash in Flint Township. It happened near North Dye Road and Maple Crest Drive late Sunday morning. Investigators say a Hyundai Sonata was traveling on Dye Road when it crashed head-on with the GMC Yukon. The driver of the Sonata, a 76-year-old man, was killed. The driver of the GMC was taken to a local hospital with minor injuries. The crash is still under investigation. Today, the trial begins for a pet groomer accused of roughing up a dog. Michael Pickard is facing a charge of animal cruelty. Now, video was posted on Facebook from inside a business in Burton last year. The trial begins at 8:30 in Genesee County District Court. If found guilty, Pickard could face up to 3 months behind bars. Up for debate. Monday, Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely presented his 2022-2023 budget proposal to the City Council. Neely's proposal calls for additional resources to fight blight, investments in police and fire, and more. He urged council members to sign off on his proposal without amending it. A hot topic was how the city plans to fight blight in the next fiscal year.
I think we are dropping the ball when it comes down to blight. It's almost criminal to even have them skeleton crew going out there trying to take on cleaning up the whole entire city of Flint.
The council also wanted to know what specific things will be covered by grants in the budget and when those funds expire. Neely says his budget benefits the people of the community and every dollar spent will go toward that. More meetings on the proposed budget are scheduled into May. And a closure compromise. Last night, the Bay City Commission voted for an amended resolution to close down roads throughout the downtown area for feet on the street. But even with the compromise, some business owners fear there will be fewer feet on the street coming into their establishments. The popular initiative came about during the pandemic when outdoor eating was only allowed. It will return to half of the block between Water and Saginaw streets, prohibiting cars in those areas so restaurants can expand outdoors.
They're closing the east side of the street, which is where my business is. So the west side of the street is where there's parking, but you still don't go past my building. So my building is still blocked.
In a unanimous vote, the Bay City Commission voted to adopt the proposal to temporarily close traffic. Commissioner Jesse Dockett says this was the best option to accommodate most requests from business owners.
I hope that they understand that we were trying to do our best in order to support the entirety of the business community on 3rd Street and drive business there.
To help increase traffic to the businesses on 3rd Street, Dockett says he is working with the Downtown Management Board to organize some activities on the street during the day to drive traffic to that area. The feet on the street closures are expected to start no later than Memorial Day. The closures remain in effect through the end of November. Well, happening today, if you're in the market for a new job, the Bavarian Inn of Frankenmuth is hiring. The Mid-Michigan attraction is hosting a job fair this afternoon. The event includes employment opportunities at both the restaurant and the lodge. Both full-time and part-time positions are open. That fair runs from 1 to 5 today. All right, if you're just joining us right now, TV5 News Time is reaching 6:37. The Saginaw City Council adopting a new strategy to develop the downtown area, who they are turning to for some help. All right, so we are seeing a decent shot right here. This is a Birch Run. I-75 is looking pretty good. Roads seem to be drying out, but traffic is definitely picking up, and we're tracking a lot of road incidents. You can see some slowdowns there. I-75 heading down to Auburn Hills, but otherwise, just take it easy. Matthew has your forecast in about 2.5 minutes.
And now your First Warn 5 forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
6:40 is your TV5 news time on this Tuesday morning. Want to get right to traffic down in Genesee County as we're seeing a number of crashes coming in and actually a few updates to our roadways there. Here's a live look at I-69 westbound. This is from the Napide building, so this is right near exit 138 for Dort Highway. We can see this is almost at a standstill. Your travel forecast on I-69 is definitely slowed down for the 6 o'clock and the 7 o'clock hour due to some of these damp areas and slick spots that we are seeing. So here's your latest update for I-69 from I-475 to I-75. So from exit 137, it is actually closed at the moment. I-75 from Mount Morris to the split is still open and actually looking at okay traffic flows there. And from Grand Blanc to Auburn Hills on I-75 southbound, we also are seeing some slowdowns too. So here's a look at your live and time traffic map. That area again, I-69 all along from exit 137 towards I-75 is closed right now due to an accident that is there. And even down towards I-75 northbound at exit 106 for Dixie Highway, we're also getting reports of the freeway being blocked there due to a crash as well. We'll continue to track this through the rest of your morning, but tracking a quieter forecast for today that's coming up.
All right, after an active morning for sure, the quiet will be nice. Sounds good. Thank you, Matthew. TV5 News Time 6:41. Mask no more. What it means for you now the federal mandate has been struck down. Stick with us. So Boy Scouts are known for camping, hiking, and earning merit badges, but now they are also helping to do something really remarkable, regrowing Florida's coral reefs. Corals are extremely vulnerable to climate change, but as Bradley Blackburn reports, teenage scouts are now helping to fight for their future.
On an island in the Florida Keys, these tanks hold a new generation of corals just starting to grow.
So we're just transferring them so that we can clean their tank.
And these are some of the young scouts who are helping care for them.
Right now I'm checking the salinity of the water.
At the Boy Scouts of America's Sea Base, young men and women have been learning to scuba dive for decades, where they've seen up close how the colors and creatures in Florida's coral reefs are under serious threat.
It is dying, to be quite frank. And that's due to a number of factors, changes in water temp, quality, human interaction.
General Manager Mike Johnson thought scouts could be part of the solution. Using a technique called fragmentation, they cut corals into tiny pieces that regrow 50 times faster than they would in nature. The scouts then plant them underwater to rebuild the reef. This is what they can look like after 5 years.
So do you think there might be a coral restoration merit badge on the horizon?
I hope so.
Even without a badge, Scout Warren Vrone knows he's making a difference.
When I remember my biggest accomplishment in scouting, it would probably be the Sea Base program.
Since launching in 2018, the Sea Base Nursery has grown 10,000 corals and is part of a 2-decade project to restore millions of square feet of reef. 15-year-old Ryan Emmons says they're helping the sea and future scouts.
It's going to make an everlasting change and an everlasting benefit for future generations.
A scout service project for Mother Nature, building a brighter future under the sea. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Well, new this morning, the Colorado River is now the most endangered river in the U.S., according to one conservation group. In its new report, American Rivers says the Colorado gained the top spot because of climate change and outdated water management practices. The river's flow could be reduced by 10 to 30% by 2050. Last year, the federal government declared a water shortage in the Colorado for the first time. The report based its findings on several factors, including the significance of the river to people and ecosystems and the scale of the threat. Renters are losing confidence they will ever own a home. According to a Federal Reserve Bank of New York survey, the average probability of owning a home at some point in the future tumbled to 43% this year. That's the lowest level since the New York Fed began asking that question in 2015. Only about a third of people surveyed with less than a bachelor's degree or who make less than $60,000 expect to ever own a home. That's down more than 10% from the past 2 years. 22% of households in the survey report they plan to buy a home, but now view renting as a better financial decision. All right, so the Boston Marathon is always a special day for hundreds of thousands of runners and spectators from all around the world. One of this year's inspiring stories is Adrienne Haslett, who lost her leg in the 2013 bombing attack. The former professional ballroom dancer is the epitome of Boston Strong. This is also the 50th anniversary since women were officially allowed to compete, a historical moment honored by many women who ran. Nancy Chen has more.
75-year-old Val Rogoszewski isn't just taking on the Boston Marathon. She's revisiting a trail she helped blaze as one of the first 8 women officially allowed into the race.
Pretty crazy to think of 50 years ago, 8 people standing on the line, and here we are with thousands of women.
Why weren't women allowed to run in the Boston Marathon before 1972?
Part of it was just social convention. It wasn't good for women to sweat. It wasn't good for women to have big muscles.
It wasn't good for women to be strong.
There, that's a good one right there, yeah.
Before 1972, only men could compete, though a few women did crash the race. So those first 8 understood what was at stake.
It was sort of thick in the air that nobody walks, nobody drops out for sure.
They all finished. Today, Rogoszewski tackled the course once again, this time with her daughters.
More and more, I really see my mom made history. My mom made history.
Now, more than 10,000 are following in her footsteps.
So I'm just thinking about, the cycle of life, and it's almost like handing the baton to them. And it makes me feel very, very good.
Nancy Chen, CBS News, Boston.
And now your First Warn 5 forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
We had snowfall move through the area yesterday. It did leave a light coating of snow down in Genesee County. Still some leftover moisture on our roadways too, and we are seeing the effects of that this morning. Want to get right to traffic again. This is something we've been tracking for about the last hour or so. This live look at I-69 here. This is from the Nappi building. This is just a couple of miles to the east of the downtown Flint or the 475 interchange, and this is what we've been looking at for about the last hour now. Traffic continuing to back up here, and that's because we do have a new update. I-69 westbound from exit 137, so that's for 475, is actually closed all the way to I-75. So again, I-69 westbound from 475 to 75 is closed right now. That is due to a crash, and there was also still a crash earlier at Dort Highway, that exit for 138 too. So everything looking to be a little bit slowed down, certainly near that Flint area this morning. Here's a look at your traffic times, your drive times in the Flint area. So again, I-69 westbound, 475 to 75 is closed, but I-75 from Mount Morris Township down to the 23 and 75 split, that actually is clearing up there, so things looking okay on 75 south on the western side of the Flint area. And if you do travel from Grand Blanc to Auburn Hills on I-75 southbound, we are also looking at slowed down traffic there due to some slick spots and some damp areas too. Also on your live on time traffic map, there is still a crash at exit 106. That's for Dixie Highway. This is right at the county line between Oakland and Genesee County, and we still have reports that I-75 northbound is completely blocked here at the moment due to this crash. So if you do travel northbound I-75 from northern Oakland County into southern Genesee County, you will also need to find an alternate route this morning. That's because temperatures this morning are borderline right at that freezing point. We have 33 in Flint, 32 in Lapeer, 33 over in Owasso. So where we did see that light coating of snow in those southern counties yesterday, some of that looks like it is starting to freeze over just a little bit. This morning on your First Warn 5 pinpoint Doppler live from MBS, we also have a few flurries moving right through the Lapeer area, right over M24 at the moment, but most of us starting off dry for this morning. As we head through the morning, a few of these lingering snow showers will still be the theme, but as we get into the afternoon, we do start to dry things out. This is at 6 o'clock and also start to welcome a little bit of sunshine back into the area. So for your evening drive, or if you have any evening errands to run later on, your weather is actually looking okay, just with a northwesterly wind. It's still going to make it feel a little cooler. We continue with this clearing trend as we go into the overnight hours for tonight. This means a cold morning tomorrow starting off. Temperatures tomorrow morning at your bus stop time is going to be in the 20s with some wind chills also down even into the lower 20s. But through the daytime on Wednesday, we're still looking at sunshine coming back to the area. Rain not moving in until overnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And that's going to be the other focal point of the forecast as we go into the next couple of days. So real quick, again, those wind chills, or rather those wind gusts for this afternoon up to around 30 miles per hour. So that's going to make temperatures in the 40s actually feel more like the 30s for this afternoon. And again, tracking that rain as we go into Thursday. Thursday morning. So this rain actually kind of convenient with our timing overnight during the nighttime period, only looking at a few scattered showers for your morning drive on Thursday morning. And by the late morning on Thursday, we're already dried out. That rain has moved off to the east and also seen sunshine coming back in. So after that rain early in the morning on Thursday, actually looking at a pretty nice day for Thursday, and kind of an early look at those rainfall totals too, looking to be on average around 1/4 of an inch and actually quite consistently across the area too. So not a soaking rain, but a good rain. Maybe if you wanted to get some fertilizer down in the yard on Wednesday in anticipation of that rain. 7-day forecast is warmer tomorrow, 51. We have 62 on Thursday, so there's that pretty nice day. And into the weekend, Blake, we're also tracking more shower and thunderstorm chances and temperatures returning to the 70s. But be sure to drive safe this morning.
Yes, for sure. I'll echo that sentiment, Matthew. Thank you so much. Now for a look back at some of today's top headlines. The Saginaw City Council recently voted to change bylaws in order to create a position for a student. Government for Tomorrow is working with the city of Saginaw to select a student that will hold an official non-voting board position on Saginaw's Downtown Development Authority. The goal is to fill the position by the fall. A federal judge in Florida has overturned the CDC's mask mandate on airplanes and public transportation, ruling the agency exceeded its authority. The Biden administration says it won't enforce the mandate while it reviews the court ruling. The TSA had extended the mask mandate for another couple weeks before that decision. And the parents of accused Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley are due back in court today. Jennifer and James Crumbley have a pretrial hearing. Both are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the high school shooting that killed 4 students and injured others. Michigan Works is offering job seekers the chance to speak with prospective employers or learn more about the local companies that are hiring. It's happening at the Flint Service Center on Saginaw Street from 1 to 4. All right, here's a look ahead at CBS Mornings.
Hello to you. I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings in our new series that we're calling Rebuilding America. We'll introduce you to a group at the forefront of sustainable housing. See why these homes are growing in popularity. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Very good. Here's a look at what we are working on for TV5 News at 9. First, in Ask the County, we are talking about everything that you need to know when adopting from the animal shelter. Then in your can't miss moment, a 4th grade class in Michigan is making it their mission to help those displaced by the war. Plus, a first look at this summer's new Marvel movie and today's Hollywood Minute. Those are always fun. And as always, we'll have another look at your First Warn 5 forecast. Matthew has that and an update on all the traffic incidents out there.
Yes, Blake, seen a number of traffic crashes this morning, some slick spots on our roadways. The biggest update is still I-69 westbound from 475 to 75 is closed at the moment due to an accident. I-75 southbound from Mount Morris Township down to the 75-23 split is starting to clean up, so things looking a little better there. I-75 southbound from Grand Blanc to Auburn Hills through Genesee and Oakland County is also still a little slower this morning, so also seeing some slick spots there in that area for this morning drive. 7-day forecast has 40s for this afternoon and only a few lingering snow showers this morning. We're warmer tomorrow, then tracking more rain Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But then this upcoming weekend, Blake, we're talking 70s making a return with some showers and thunderstorms, maybe an early summer-like feel.
You know what? We need it. That's for sure. I will add to that, we've seen some MDOT's maintenance salting crews out there. That tells you just how dangerous those roads could be.
Things have been getting slick pretty quick.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the updates.
Yeah.
Thanks all for waking up with us. We'll see you at 9. Enjoy your day, but keep warm and stay safe out there, everyone.
Thanks for watching WNEMTV5. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile, and on our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.